Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm right here in the ARG offices. This is Ken Ham, President of Answers in Genesis, Creation Museum, and the Ark Encounter. Do you see all this behind me here? I tell you what, we have an incredible outreach to people who speak Spanish across America, other parts of the world. I want to introduce you to that today. I want to show you what's happening. I think you'll be excited and share with you how people can obtain this, because I know Spanish-speaking people, that's what, the second most spoken language, I believe, in America, and it's certainly spoken in many other countries, but you can see all the resources here. And we're going to talk today to my brother Stephen, who is involved in looking after the international ministry here as we outreach around the world, and Joe Owen. Joe, can you say something in, well, say something in English. Say hello in English, first of all.
Hello. No, hello, everybody.
Now, okay, now say it in Spanish.
Hola, Dios les bendiga. Un saludo a todos que hablan español y los que están aprendiendo, que el Señor les guarde también.
Okay, I didn't understand a word of what you said. I hope it was nice.
It was very nice.
I hope it was good.
Yeah.
So what we might even do is now and then you can translate into Spanish too. But,
Me parece muy bien.
Okay, so we'll ask some questions. Hey, I was just looking at this over on the wall here. This was a program you did where?
This was in Bogotá, Colombia, with Dr. Nathaniel Jensen just last year.
That was last year. So we're doing these sort of conferences in South America and other
Yes, sir.
Other parts of the world as well.
Yes,
So
sir.
we are really excited about the fact that we have all these materials in Spanish, and Spanish would be, we have lots of materials translated into lots of different languages, Italian and all sorts of other languages, Russian and so on, but Spanish would be our biggest, correct?
Spanish is currently the biggest, followed very closely behind by Arabic, actually.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of resources in Arabic, but because we have Joe with us, really concentrating on the Latin ministry, we have a whole group of volunteers that have really put a lot of effort into doing a lot. So we've got, this is not all of it, by the way. This is some of it, but we've got programs, and Joe can tell you a lot more, but we've got a lot more translated resources.
Well, just for interest, Joe, how about I tell people about some of these resources and you translate in Spanish so those who understand Spanish can hear you talk
Me
about
parece
this.
excelente.
So we have here three of the answers
Tenemos
books.
tres libros de las respuestas.
These contain some of the most asked questions that people ask
Esos
about
libros
Genesis,
contienen algunas preguntas más
creation, evolution.
frecuentes respecto al libro de Génesis, la creación, la evolución.
And in fact, as we've traveled around the world, we know the top asked
A
questions.
la medida en que nosotros vamos viajando a través del mundo, estas son las preguntas más frecuentes.
And in
que
English, we
tenemos.
have 4 answers
Y
books.
también en inglés hay 4 libros de las
So
respuestas.
now we have 3 of them in Spanish.
Y ahora, el día de hoy, tenemos 3 en castellano.
So that'd be something like, what, 100 of the
Esto
most asked
sería
questions
más o menos 100 de las preguntas más frecuentes.
with detailed answers.
Con las respuestas con
And
detalles.
the English answers books are the biggest selling creation
Los
apologetics
libros
books in the world.
En inglés de respuestas son los libros apologéticos más vendidos en el mundo.
This is one that I find this topic is really, really popular anywhere in the world.
Yo veo que este tópico es bastante popular donde quiera que viaje en el mundo.
Helping people understand there's one blood, one race, we're all related.
Para ayudar a la gente a entender que hay una sola raza, una sola sangre, que todos somos parientes.
With the one blood, one race too in Spanish,
Con una sola sangre, una sola raza en español, en castellano.
we've made sure that we've contextualized it to particular problems that hit Latin America and the Spanish-speaking community.
Nosotros estuvimos seguros de ponerlo en un buen contexto que trata con la comunidad latinoamericana.
You mean you changed my book?
¿Significa que cambiaste mi libro?
No, not your words.
Oh, yeah.
No las palabras suyas,
But Joe is an extra author in there.
sino
is that what it
su
is?
siervo es otro autor en este libro.
Ah, okay. All right. So you crashed in on my book.
Entonces, yo destruí su libro.
You did.
What
No,
was
I
that?
didn't.
Oh, okay. All right.
That was
So
a bad translation.
this one, The Lie,
Esta es la mentira,
which is, other than the Bible, which is the textbook of the ministry,
porque primero hay que decir que la Biblia es el libro de texto de ese ministerio, pero aparte de la Biblia,
this is our textbook.
este es nuestro libro de
That's the
texto
importance of the book of Genesis.
que nos habla acerca de la importancia del libro de Génesis en la
And
Biblia
all of our doctrines based
y
in
todas nuestras
Genesis.
doctrinas que se basan en el libro de Génesis.
This is a video that's shown here at the Creation Museum.
Este video tenemos aquí en el Museo de la Creación
It really presents the gospel
y presenta el Evangelio
and very powerfully.
de una manera poderosa.
We also have this book by Steve and I dealing with how to raise godly offspring.
También tenemos este libro de Steve y yo que hablan acerca de la crianza de hijos piadosos.
Answers books for kids.
Libros de respuestas para niños.
And little booklets that can be used to sort of give away tracts
Y
for
muchos
answering
libritos
questions.
que se pueden usar como tratados para responder a varias preguntas.
And then we have some really exciting news.
Y ahora tenemos unas noticias muy
I think
emocionantes.
somebody's asking a question.
Yo creo que alguien está haciendo una pregunta.
Oh, how can people purchase them? How can they get the Spanish materials?
Okay, now in English. In our page, answersingenesis.org, or respuestasdengenesis.org in español. In the bookstore, you can purchase all of these. You may say, well, how do I get them in my country? Well, if you go to the Spanish part, respuestasdengenesis.org, it's going to first ask what country you're in. And when deciding the country that you're in, there's a different distributor if you're very far away from the United
Actually,
States.
on our website, answersingenesis.org, on the right-hand side up the top there, you can go and click on Spanish, for
Oh,
instance.
yes. Yes, so you can go directly from the
there's a little
English
window
page.
there, you go
Yeah.
down, it'll have different languages, and click on
Okay.
Spanish, and take you to our Spanish materials.
Yes, sir.
Or you can just go to our website and just do a search, and just put in Spanish, and it'll come up with all the Spanish materials. So you can get them through our website. But, Stephen, you're wearing a shirt.
This is the Ocean Commotion.
Conmoción oceánica.
So it's part of our Ocean
Y
Commotion
es parte
VBS.
de la escuela
This is a
bíblica
VBS that
Vacaciones.
thousands of churches use here in the
Esta es la escuela
USA.
bíblica Vacaciones que se utilizan en miles de iglesias en los Estados Unidos.
And it's very, very popular. It's very unique because it's
Bastante
apologetics-based, biblical authority,
Único
evangelistic.
y popular porque se basa en la autoridad de la palabra de Dios y también además es evangelista.
It's in the top, I think it's the top third of VBS programs
Es de
used
los-
now.
del tercio mayor de los programas de escuela de vacaciones de bíblica que más se
But
utiliza.
that's not in English.
Pero no está en inglés.
So we've just recently translated our first VBS into Spanish. This is the very first one.
Oh, is that right?
Hemos
That's
traducido
phenomenal.
nuestra primer escuela bíblica vacaciones en castellano.
Now, okay, so it'd be difficult to get this to, look at this big pack of materials here, this backpack, to get all that to people around the world. So we're doing this a little differently, aren't we?
We are, sir. For conferences, because we have about 30 conferences in Latin America every year right now. We're going to be taking a box with a starter kit, but in a box that we can sell at the conferences. But for the people in countries who can't get this, we're going to have it available for download as well to purchase off the webpage.
So they can get it digitally.
Yes, sir, from any country.
And they'll be able to get it off our website.
Yes, sir.
So they'll go in there and look under Spanish, and it'll be under there, and
Yes,
it'll
sir.
tell them how they can get that.
Yes, sir. On the same page where you told them to go in the Spanish tab, we will be receiving the finished product at the end of this month. And so we're going to, from there, spend just a few days getting it up
So our
online and have it
VBS in
ready.
Spanish, we could reach millions of kids.
Millions. Actually, there's 600 million Latin Americans and only 300 million North Americans. So we get the double impact.
So this is going to be absolutely phenomenal. And then
so.
something else that's really exciting is that over here, if you look here, you see these pins in here. Tell us what they represent.
Those pins represent right now the radio stations that are playing every weekday of the year. It's called Respuestas Hoy radio programs that we translated from Ken Ham's programs, your 60-second program.
So not only did you crash in on my book, One Blood, One Race, and write a section on that, now you're taking my radio programs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, it's to every tribe, tongue, and nation. We're trying to get that.
So those 60-second daily radio programs,
Yes.
now I imagine you have to work hard to translate them all into Spanish.
Yes, sir. Actually, in Spanish, we did 90 seconds because Spanish is so much wordier than English. So they're 90-second programs, and we have volunteers doing the translation. We're editing them, and so far, the feedback has been so great. When we were in Spain last year, we had a lady come to the conference who said, "I have no idea who this church is," or "I just been listening to the radio program from my phone in an app."
Is that right?
Yes,
Well,
sir.
that's absolutely phenomenal. So if people want to get the radio program, what do they do?
They go to Answers in Gen. If you go back to the Spanish or Respuestas en Genesis.org, there's a Medios, which is media tab, and in there's a button to click that says Respuestas Hoy.
And they can get their station, radio station, to play these programs too?
Yes, sir.
They can get
Yes,
them
sir.
from us?
Yes,
and
sir.
They're free, right?
Yes, sir. When they click on the button, that sends a link to us. We send them the password, and then they download it.
Okay, and if a radio station wants to use it, they can get it off there as well?
Yes, sir. All of those spins are radio stations who have contacted us who are playing them right now.
So, Stephen, what have we got planned for coming up for Latin America?
Okay, so we have quite a number of conferences coming up. Joe is about to go to Mexico again.
Tomorrow morning.
And I'll be meeting him there actually next week for a part of it, and we're going into seminaries as well, which is great. We have, I have to shout out to our brothers and sisters in El Salvador, because this is the church that has got behind us and translated the VBS, as well as organised amazing conferences. And so we've gone back to El Salvador, and they have brought pastors in from all over each time we've gone in, and we have over 1,500 people come to those conferences. Joe, at the end of the year, is going to New York City to a church that has over 1,000 Spanish-speaking people come in the middle of New York City to this church, and they are running an amazing youth conference. We're going to even have an astronaut at that conference who is going to be talking to them, as well as our own speakers. And we're just doing more and more translations on an ongoing basis. We're looking at a book about the authority of Scripture, as well as very, very soon, The Lie, your book, will be coming out, even though we've already got it up there and you've said it, but your new version, your updated version of The Lie, expanded version, will be coming out. That's the next resource to come out.
Now, something else that's exciting, the Creation Museum and the Ark. Now, all the signage is in English, but tell us about, how do you pronounce it, Dia Latino Day?
Yes, sir. And Dia Latino, we used to have Dia Latino, which is Latino Day, or Hispanic Day, when we just had the Creation Museum.
Right.
Well, now with the Ark, we turned it into 2 days. Last year, we had over 2,100 Hispanics come on these days, and we have some of our specialists all throughout the museum and the Ark with translators. We have about 25 bilingual translators come and volunteer that day, and people go through and they hear all the exhibits explained in Spanish.
That is absolutely phenomenal. So when is that? What date is that?
September 30th in the Creation Museum, and September 30th in the Ark, and October 1st at the Creation Museum.
Now, that should be on our events calendar for the Creation Museum.
It's
on the website there.
Yes, sir.
And a very, very special guest is also going to be coming and performing, somebody who's very well known in Latin America.
So who is that?
Yes, back in the late 90s, there was a kind of a hard rap group called Control Machete. And one of the lead...
I've never heard of him.
One of the lead...
I don't really do rap.
Yeah, well, the lead guy, he came to Christ, and now he's a pastor in Mexico City. Actually, that's where I'm going tomorrow.
Oh, really?
To have a conference in the church he pastors in Mexico City.
What's his name?
His name is Fermin Cuarto.
Okay.
Fermin Cuarto.
And he's going to be here?
He's going to come here and give his testimony, and we're praying that that's going to attract a lot of people here who maybe don't know the gospel.
So the group that Joe just talked about, back in the day, it wasn't a Christian group.
Right.
So I'll put that out there, because the lyrics might not be what everybody would accept, but certainly since then he has an amazing testimony. It's really worth hearing.
Wow, that'd be fun, just for and interesting, just for English-speaking people.
Yes,
to
sir.
hear that.
Yes, sir.
So he's going to come here. So what about if people come to the Creation Museum now? Isn't there a way of them hearing, in Spanish, really the text of our exhibits?
Yes, sir. They can read the text, and they can also hear it in audio. You recently did an audio tour through the museum. We translated the whole thing and then recorded it into Spanish.
We'll have to do that with the Ark too, won't we?
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to doing that.
But with
in
the museum, it's available right now.
It is available right now. Yes, sir.
So, well, that is phenomenal.
Yes, sir.
Well, I just wanted people really to understand a little bit about what we're doing in regard to translation ministry. And this is just Spanish. As you said, the next one, Arabic, we've got a lot of materials in Arabic.
Huge TV programs, all sorts of things
in Arabic. Well, this ministry is really extending around the world. That is absolutely phenomenal. And we have, you got some connections in Italy. We got some materials in Italian.
Yep. In fact, I just had a group of Italians with me this last weekend. They were in the Ark in the museum, who I do ministry with, and we've got a whole creation apologetics organisation that is set up in Italy now, going out to the churches who are educated by our materials.
What did they think of the Ark?
Oh man, they were just just blown away. They just couldn't stop talking about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Molto bene.
And we've also got material in Russian.
Russian. In fact, I'm going to Russia in May, and we have our pocket guides.
Are you going to meet with Putin while you're over there?
Well, if he'll see me. I doubt it.
And wasn't there a set of my DVDs that has been translated to Russian?
Yeah,
They're doing pretty well.
And so what we're doing is actually a follow-up to that, because they created so much demand. People started in churches, pastors and all people just started screaming out for more material. So we've done our pocket guides in Russian, and we're going over to give those, and also to some other Russian-speaking countries.
Wow, and that's just a scratching the surface. There's a lot more going on with our translation ministry, but I'm thrilled that we've got the first VBS in Spanish, and our VBS program has become extremely popular. Well, it's one of the top in the world, and it's the only really apologetics, biblical authority-based one that actually exists, and that's the uniqueness of it, and it's very evangelistic. And then what about our Answers Bible curriculum? Are we going to do that in other languages?
Yes, sir. The plan is the same group that helped us with this. They're finding all the came into some difficulties, and now they fixed them all, and they're saying, okay, maybe we can start taking on the Answers Bible curriculum now.
So that'd be phenomenal.
Yes.
It'll be a 4-year Bible curriculum. It's 3-year right now, and we're turning into 4 years of April.
Yes, sir.
And have that available in Spanish would
Yes,
be
sir.
phenomenal.
Yes.
There's nothing else like that in the
Nothing.
world. Thousands of churches using that Answers Bible curriculum here in America. Okay, well, we'll end off with this broadcast, but again, all the materials that we have in Spanish, this is not all of them, but this is a lot of them here, and our VBS, it'll be in Spanish by the end of the month, and available for digital download, and then our radio program, that's also in Spanish, and then our Di Latino Day here at the Creation Museum, and one at the Ark as well, and
Yes,
that's
sir.
at the end of September,
September.
early October.
Yes, sir.
September 30, October 1. They can look up the information on the Creation Museum website, and Answers in Genesis event website will have
Yes,
it on
sir.
there as an event. And then you're doing all sorts of outreaches down in South America.
On our website too. So if we're doing any conferences, for instance, in the United States in Spanish-speaking churches, you'll be able to see it and go.
AnswersInGenesis.org, go to our events calendar. So there we are. How do we say thank you for watching in Spanish?
Gracias por sintonizarse.
And how do you say, we'll say goodbye here from the Answers in Genesis offices.
Nos vamos a despedir de aquí desde las oficinas de Respuestas en Génesis.
Yeah, my Spanish is getting better.
Yes, and you lost your
I sound
Australian accent.
I
in
sound just
Spanish.
like you.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
Okay, everyone have a good day.